I think it's brave of you to talk about these things, because a lot of musicians are afraid to talk about these types of issues or express their opinions, and people are like, "Oh, you just sing and be quiet," you know. So I commend you for doing this, you know, and writing about these types of topics that a lot of people are afraid to. I noticed there was a song about "Pray for Me" on the note about freedom, like about the women's right to choose. Talk a little bit about that and the inspiration behind that.
Yeah, the song is "Don't Pray for Me," and I was asked to write an essay for Kerrang Music, for Kerrang magazine in England. They asked me to write about a subject that I could choose of my own choosing, and for International Women's Day, and I chose abortion. Not that I am pro-abortion or against abortion. I was just very curious how we deal with that within the law in Europe. So I started to read about all these news articles I could find. It took me weeks to really get a bigger picture of everything from every country, and to compare, like, okay, what's happening in Poland, what's happening in the Netherlands, what are the latest laws of this. And I found out that there's no, it's so different. It's going from, it's 180 degrees different in Poland than in the Netherlands, which is only also, like, again, a few hours away from where I'm living. And here we are very liberal in how we let the individual choose whatever she wants to do. Of course, within a certain limit of time. Of course, you're not allowed to do it, which scientists have told is not allowed to do it anymore, to have an abortion. And again, I'm not against it or for it. I'm very much for the individual choice for freedom within that subject. And I think it's very difficult to hear somebody say you're not allowed to do this or you are allowed to do that. And it inspired me to write the song for many reasons, because I think a lot of times what we don't realize is, or realize it too late, is when we go for elections, it's very important who you vote for, because it's not just about, it's also about these topics. You really need to know where people stand before you vote for them. And it's not always clear. And so you end up now, like in Poland, for instance, where there is not possible to get sex education anymore in the schools, which will end up for people wanting to have an abortion, probably. And then now they've put a ban on abortion completely as well, for even when there's incest or rape or any kind of way.
Wow.
Instead, the only way you can get an abortion in Poland nowadays is when the life of the mother is in danger. And then they really have to have, like, a doctor saying so. So it's very difficult, and I think if you choose for the party that is in charge now, there's a conservative party. It's a right-wing party that says that they don't want to have they want to have the option for an abortion. So if you choose for that, and you take out sex education, and you don't want to have people are not allowed to have an abortion, there is no safety net after that anymore. So who's going to guarantee the happiness of the child that eventually is going to be born? And people say, of course, we'll take it in our arms. And it's nothing like the love of a real parent, to my opinion. I'm sorry. And so I think if you choose for a government that is thinking that way, then you need to have a solution C, which will also have a solution for the child and the parent eventually. And because you're going to decide so many things for that person's life, it will be scarred for life, both of them, to my opinion. So it's like, and there's no safety net after it. So they just changed those things, no sex education anymore. And they said, you're not allowed to have an abortion, but they don't have a solution for everything that comes after that. So it's like, okay, it's one thing that you want that as a society, but it's the next thing that you have to think about. What are you going to do with the people who are coming in that situation? So.
That's the debate we've been having for years in the United States. The conservatives want to outlaw abortion, but they don't want to pay for programs to take care of children that have no parents. And the other thing that I think is crazy about this issue that a lot of people don't consider is it's not like women are just having abortions willy-nilly, like, oh, I'm just going to have an abortion. Like, that's a serious thing. And if a person has to do that, like, it's a serious choice to make, and they're going to have to deal with the repercussions of that choice, you know, that
Exactly.
person. And
Yeah.
people don't think about that. It's like they have to impose, but if someone gets to the point where they're going to have an abortion, there's a serious problem. Like you said, they were raped, or they don't have the money to take care of the
Yeah,
baby.
exactly. Yeah, and they feel guilty of not having that, being able to give that, and you know, it's also saying like some people say, well, then you have the baby and you put it up for adoption, but that's also ripping someone's heart out, because if you finally have the baby, you don't want to get rid of it. You love it.
Yeah.
It's part of you. It's part
Yeah.
of the whole process of having a child. So yeah. So I'm really for the choice for the individual to choose for that. And so just wanting to bring that subject up in a country where we're able to have the discussion again, where in some countries you're not even able to have that discussion, because in Poland it's not up for discussion.